So we're going to can some mandarin oranges. I was given some mandarin oranges the other day, and they're all already kind of like, you either need to eat them now or go ahead and preserve them in one way or another. So I'm going to can some of them because my girls, they will eat an entire bag in a day, but if they don't eat them like the first day or two, then they've been forgotten and they're not going to get eaten before they go bad. So that means it's time for Mama to make sure that food doesn't go to waste. So what I've done is I've already peeled 9 oranges. Morning, Melissa. I've already peeled 9 oranges and split them between the two. I thought each pint was going to hold 4 mandarin oranges, but they're good with 4.5. I could probably even fit 5 in each. So 5 mandarin oranges fits in a pint. So if you only want to do single servings, I suggest using like your half pint jars. Morning, Brianna. But yeah, so you definitely, after you put your peeled oranges in, you have to go ahead and put a liquid in. You can use water. I usually don't like them just with water. I like a syrup, either a light syrup or a heavy syrup. You can make a syrup with orange juice. There's a ton of recipes out there, but just for time's sake today, we're just going to use water. My kids will still eat the oranges. It's fine. But we're going to be steam canning today. And steam canning is an alternate method to water bath canning. There are a lot of water bath canners out there that are really high priced right now just because it says water bath canner. Now there's a new thing, steam canning, and these people are making bank on their steam canners because they are they're a nice little penny. They're gonna cost you. They're a little spendy. So, but I grew up poor, and I try to be as frugal as possible. And if I see that there's a way to do things cheaper, I'm gonna do it cheaper. Especially because we are a family of 6 living in an 1,800 square foot home, and truthfully, this house is too small for us to begin with. So if I don't need to purchase more stuff to come into my house, then I'm not going to. So this is my tamale steamer, okay? It's got a nice clear lid, which you definitely want to be able to see what's going on inside your pot. It's got the rack in here. I have used this pot for so many things. This pot is a well-loved pot. I've had it for years upon years. It's seen tamales. It has seen crawfish and shrimp boil. It has seen big batches of caldo. It has seen just all kinds of stuff. This is what I use as my water bath canner. I don't own no ball water bath canner, nothing like that, nothing fancy. I have this. It can go on my electric stove, or it can go on my propane burner outside, just depending on our circumstances, whatever is going on. And I'm good with that. So in steam canning, you use 2.5 to 3 quarts of water in your steam canner. I've already tested this out. 3 quarts in this pot is just a smidge too much, because you don't want water coming up around the bottoms of your jars. So, and it doesn't until it starts boiling. Then the water starts coming through the little holes. You just really don't want it to run out of water when you're in the middle of processing, because that can cause a temperature fluctuation, and then you'll have to start your processing time back over, and it's just a mess. 2.5 quarts is going to be perfect in this. And I just use, to measure, this is a quart jar. 4 cups is a quart. So 4, 8, 10 cups is what I'm going to put in here. So give me just a second. Let's hope that I can count today on when I'm live. When I'm doing things in front of people, I kind of like grow arms and legs out of my head and a third eye, and I just like, I don't know basic things, okay? So when I'm doing it by myself, I'm an absolute professional and I know everything. But if somebody's sitting there watching me, things can get a little dicey sometimes. So I'm just going to come up to the 2-cup mark. A lot of your ball jars have these, they have these little measuring deals on the side of these marks. So that makes it super helpful. So I'll just put this on my burner. I'm going to put my lid on, or my, not lid, the other thingy that my jars sit on, the grate. And then I'm going to turn on my heat and put my lid on. Now, when I did this the last time, things got a little dicey because I turned it on high right away and I realized that it came to a full rolling boil really fast and that water was coming up. Doing this, the reason why people like doing this is because you can use less energy and less water. So I'm not putting it all the way to high to start. I want the water to get hot pretty fast, but I don't want it like zoomy, like crazy. Let's get this thing hot, fired up and going. I want to take it kind of slow on heating up. Something that I did actually spend money on for this project is this little thermometer, okay? And it's just got this long wire connected to it. We had done a fundraiser through the church for tamales, the Ramirez tamales. Delicious, delicious, delicious. But when the guy was delivering them, I saw he had one of these to make sure that the food in the coolers were staying at the correct temperature for food safety. And I was like, man, that is a super cool gadget. And then when I started kind of thinking through how I could create my own steam canner, I was like, this is perfect. It is perfect. However, this is going to get hot, and this is plastic. So when I stick this in and try to, and it gets sandwiched in there, if I leave it for too long, it will melt the plastic. So I stick it in, I check my temperature. It's already starting to steam up. You can see right here, it's getting white with steam. The temperature is already raising. I don't know how I can flip my camera to, okay, so are there some things that are better for steam canning versus water bath? It's pretty much the same both ways, is my understanding. Steam canning is still kind of new, so they might find out over time that some things just do better with that. But, I think that people are liking it because it takes less water. When I dump a full pot of water just down my drain, I kind of feel like it's wasteful. So yeah, this is better for water. And then again, I don't have to have my heat on as high for as long a period. So I just, it's just kind of a resource saver. Electricity is expensive. All right, it's all expensive. So anywhere I can find to kind of nip and tuck the edges on what we're spending and using and doing and thinking and all the good things. That's what I'll do. So anyways, this thing was like $10 on Amazon. And you can find the super fanciest ones for $100 million. But if you do that, it kind of eliminates the points, the point of using your good old tamale steamer. I do want to point out the steam canners that you purchase have like a gauge. That's because you want the internal temperature. I'm going to take this out. The internal temperature of the steam canner to come up to 140 degrees and stay above that during your processing time. So we don't put the jars in until it comes up to 140 degrees. And at that point I put this in and out and just kind of make sure that it's staying 140 or above. But while this is kind of heating up, I'm going to go ahead and just add hot water into my jars. When you can oranges, you want to hot pack them, meaning that you're going to put hot liquid in these jars. So I've just put some water in my electric kettle. Normally I would make a really delicious syrup. What would be amazing in this, what I was thinking a little bit ago, is if you did a syrup with vanilla in it, and it would give it kind of like that dreamsicle flavor. So good. Anyways, so I'm just going to get my water now. Should be good and hot. Yeah. Hopefully I don't spill this all over myself just because it's boiling hot and people are looking at me. And so because of that, again, I have a tendency to spill things on myself, drop things, like misspeak, be like, oh yeah, things and words that I didn't mean to say. So this is why I'm so new to doing lives. That's not true. I did a ton of lives for the girls for drill, but I wasn't actually like recording myself. Okay, so for oranges, you come up to about 1/2 inch headspace, meaning that you just want about 1/2 inch worth of air between your liquid and solids and the lid. So, and I was using this part, the handle on my spoon, to debubble. That's what that's called. Very technical term. Debubbling. And that's just making sure the water gets down in all those air pockets, because as things get hot and start moving around, it can change your headspace, which can affect your seal, affect your food situation, all the stuff. So you just want to make sure that that you're doing it right for what you're doing. Some things you leave 1 inch headspace. Other things 1/2 inch. Some things are 1/4 inch. So you really just want to have like a handbook or something, or look it up before you do stuff. I have books and things, but this morning I just consulted the interwebs because I had to have my daughter and our sweet Japanese daughter in Angleton at 9, and we live a good 35-40 minutes from the office. So ran up there, kicked him out of the car, ran back to get prepared for this, and that just needs a smidge more. Okay, that's good. Good. I'm to the point now where I can just kind of eyeball my headspace on the canning kits. They come with like the jar lifters and stuff. Look, hold on, let me get mine. They have these kits out there. This little tool. This is the debubbler that comes in this tool. It's the Norpro canning set. And it comes with just like a variety of things. It's kind of like just a starter kit. But this end will help you figure out your headspace, how deep you need it. Like if you set it on the edge of the lid, down in there, the very top, and it can go all the way in, that's 1 inch, okay? And if you need it, you know, I don't know what all of them are. Oh, here we go. 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, and then 1/4 inch. So just that teeny tiny bit right there, that last bit is 1/4 inch. So I was right about there with my, or not right there, 1/2 inch. I'm trying to be at 1/2 inch, so that much. And I was right about there. I wasn't at 1/4 inch, sorry. I misspoke. Haha, told you. Anyways, so I've got my hot water in here. I'm going to put this back, get it out of the way. I can hear this now making noise. So I'm going to go ahead and check and see where we're at. Let's see here. It takes a minute for it to really show us. It's at 120. All right. I'm going to turn it down though, because we're getting close and I don't want that water coming up, and I'm taking this thing out because I don't want it to melt my neat little toy. Look at all of these beautiful orange pills. Okay. Again, Little Miss Frugal Pants over here. If you don't like using toxic cleaners in your home and you're not the biggest fan of the smell of white vinegar, you can take a jar of just take a jar and fill it up with these orange pills. And I like to put whole clove in there, cinnamon sticks, and then I just put it in my pantry and let it sit, and I just kind of have it going with it in the white vinegar. I fill it to the top with white vinegar and it sits in there, just always kind of infusing, and I just refill my little spray bottle and I use it to clean my kitchen, and it makes my stove super shiny. I do use it on my countertops. I'm not sure what my countertops are made of. Probably granite. It's probably horrible for my countertops, but it works fantastic to clean it, and I can always reseal my countertops. It's not that big deal. I have the stuff for resealing it, and it's worth the trade-off of using you know, like Lysol or something that's gonna mess with my hormones, because heaven knows, and especially my husband knows, I don't need more things messing with my hormones, because I can be a little crazy. Okay, just a smidge crazy. Okay, so for the sake of just all that is holy, I try to stick to my homemade cleaners, so I don't accidentally turn into that red guy off of Inside Out. All right, let's see where we're at. Ooh, that looks nice and hot up in there. Okay, let's see where we're at. Can you see that? Let's see. 145. We're good to go. We're good to go. Okay. I thought it said 145. It said 142, but now it's saying 171. We are more than good to go. Okay. So I'm going to take that out. Okay. I am at sea level. Okay. So I only have to process these for 10 minutes. If you are above sea level, above 1,000 feet, or 1,000 feet, 10,000 feet, I don't know. I'm like at like 34 feet in my house. Okay. You want to check your time for your elevation. Okay. So let me get my can dropper inner thingy. my can lifter. I don't want to say drop when it comes to cans. In you go. Just keep that steam in there. In you go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start my kitchen timer. 10 minutes. Start. And that's it. I can stick this in there again to make sure that I'm maintaining my temperature. But I'm probably going to be fine. When I tested it a few days ago, I was more than fine for the whole 10 minutes. I was getting up to like 180 degrees, and I kept like lowering it to keep the water down up off the top of the grates. I started out with less water this time, so I should be fine. I didn't get up to crazy wild rolling boil on the water. No water's coming up. You want to make sure that you're not having any water touch your jars. It's all just steam. Hey, Rachel. So yeah, that's just how it's going. Super simple, way cheap. I spent $10 on this. Okay, I've had this pot for years. Surprisingly, I've never lost the grate to it. Praise God. Praise God. Okay. I need him to keep track of the grate to my thingamajiggy. But if, you know what, if I didn't have it, I could use a different type of grate. We've all got little things that came with like our Instapots or whatever, just like little metal grates. They look like little grill grates. And you can just set some canning rings down in the bottom of it, or even just like the jars if you wanted to use the 1/2 pint jelly jars, and you know, the ones that use like the wide mouth lids. Fill them with water, stick them down in there on top of a cloth so they don't, hey, you're moving my thing. So Arabella's in the kitchen with me. Set those down in there, put your grate on top, make sure you've got 2.5 to 3 quarts of water, and you're good to go. You can improvise. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg to get started. That is like the biggest falsehood that is inadvertently spread, is that you have to have the newest this or that. You have to spend a ton of money to get started canning. You really don't. The most money we've spent is on my pressure canner, which it's a Presto, so it's still not a ton of money, maybe $130 or so. And I use that for a variety of things. My mom sent me another one that's similar to the Presto, but it's an off-brand. So I actually have 2 pressure canners. I canned once in it and I struggled a little bit. I need to give it another shot and adjust things a little slower. The less expensive the canner is that you purchase, you need to realize that the quality of the metal is going to be lesser, just a lesser quality, and so it's going to affect your pressure fluctuations and stuff, and it can affect your seal. So you definitely have to be careful when adjusting your heat. It doesn't mean you can't can with them. It just means that you have to adjust your way of thinking, your process on those. So that's just a little caveat. We're not pressure canning today. If you're going to make a cleaner out of these, and you have bushels and bushels of oranges that you're dealing with because you've got trees or whatever, and you are like, man, I'm not going to need that much cleaner. I'm just going to, throw away whatever I don't use right now for my cleaner. You don't have to do that. You can put them in baggies and freeze them to change out every so often in your jar. Let me grab my jar. This actually has grapefruit peels. Look at how the color changes. These have been in here for probably 3 months now, so it's time for me to change these out anyways. So I will use these today, change them out. Whatever I don't use will go in the freezer. If you have homegrown, organic peels, I want to encourage you to dehydrate them and powder them for a vitamin C supplement. Okay, if you can't stomach them in your tea, you can put them in a gel capsule. You can buy gel capsules in bulk, encapsulate them yourself. I'm one that'll just like stir it into my tea, just take a spoonful. I like to do that with my oranges and my grapefruit. Before the horrible freeze of 2021, I had this big, gorgeous grapefruit tree out front, and she supplied us with grapefruit year after year after year, and I was in heaven, just absolute heaven with my baby. I was completely heartbroken when my tree died, but yeah, I powdered all those rinds and used it in my tea. I made marmalade and canned my grapefruit in marmalade or just in chunks like this in syrup. And it's a great way to preserve. It's a great way to have things for later. She's over here making faces. It's a great way to preserve and do all that stuff. We've only got 3 minutes left on our timer. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm open to taking questions. This is just, I want to say cloves, cinnamon sticks, and grapefruit, maybe some orange peels in there. I think there is grapefruit and orange peels in here, any citrus. And I just leave it in there all the time. I haven't changed out my cinnamon sticks in probably 18 months. And it smells amazing. It's going to extract a lot of that good orange scent, and it is way better than using the toxic stuff that's messing with everybody's lives. She's literally over here going. Lily has a recital tonight, so I was explaining stage presence to her this morning and singing in the car, and so Arabella's over here with her stage presence. I don't aspire to have stage presence, but this is the best way for me to share with y'all the information on the canning and just, get this information out there from somebody, I know y'all. I kind of know things about this. Been doing it for a long time, and it's become a passion of mine. Growing up, I was literally poverty. I like to tell the story about how when my mom and dad first moved with us to southern New Mexico, we literally lived under a camper shell, like the thing that goes on the back of the truck. We lived under that on the dirt for a period of time. And my mom would stay up with a flashlight and a hammer, and every time the ground would move, she'd hit it with the hammer. She was killing the scorpions so that we could sleep. That's how poor I grew up. So food preservation is very near and dear to my heart because, food waste is, and maybe past generations didn't do this well enough, give this message well enough. They would be like, eat all your food on your plate because there are people around the world starving. I don't make my kids finish their food on their plate, but I do preserve food that's going to go bad, because there are people out there in the world starving, and there are shortages that happen on all sorts of stuff all the time. And so, and you never know when something is going to come, like a hurricane or another pandemic or something like that. So, I mean, it's just good practice to just always be in that kind of mindset of preserving your food, not letting it go to waste. You know, the Lord has provided this food for us. This is why we pray before we eat. We give thanks for what has been provided for us, and this is another way to honor these blessings, gifts from our good Father, and be good shepherds of what He's given us. So I'm just trying not to get burnt by steam. Okay, I have, let me show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's very light. You can't see it really well on the, oh, here it is, right there. This is actually a scar. It's a discoloration, but it's a scar from steam. And I was water bath canning that day, and I got a steam burn. And I used my colloidal silver, and so it didn't hurt really bad, but it was a pretty bad burn, and it left a good scar on there. So I just always look like I have a bruise right there. I'm not bruised. It's just a scar from being burned by steam. So, all right. And now it's coming out. Look at that. Beautiful. And I just set it over here, always on a towel or cutting board. Don't ever put your hot jars down on a cool countertop unless you feel like being covered in hot syrup or liquid or something, because that jar can pop. So that's it. Now, you want to let your jars sit for about a day, and you should hear a pop within the first hour. If you don't hear a pop, you didn't get a seal. But you can try again. You can reprocess, try again. And I've had that happen for a variety of reasons. I actually forgot to clean the rims on my jars. If you've ever done a canning class with me, you probably realize I didn't clean the rims on my jars. Be sure you wipe down your rims before you put your lids on, because if there's even a tiny speck of food or syrup or anything like that on your rim, it can keep you from having a seal. So if these don't seal, that's why. If you are doing syrup, I want to encourage you to use one of these. That way you have less of a chance of having stuff just go everywhere and getting burnt by hot, sticky syrup. So those are the last couple things I wanted to kind of share with y'all. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I hope you guys have a fantastic, blessed day. Bye. All right, this one's sealed. You can pick it up by the lid only. And the center does not push down. I'm not going to touch this center, but if you pick it up and put it in the light, you can see the center has not been sucked down. So it's only been about 15 minutes or so since I got done canning. But this one's already good to go. So I can label it and put it on my shelf.